question is, are you ready?
Is he facing the right way or no?
No, he's backwards. He's got his butt to everybody.
Can you turn around, Mads? Oh, you're gonna hold the tree too?
Well, someone's got to keep the tree up.
How about, yeah. How about you? How about you look the other way? Yeah, just like that. Just like that.
How you guys doing? Good morning, Crema de Nona. I am here with Jodi and Madi's mission, and this here is Madi. This is the little monkey I've been talking about for God knows how long. And since this whole Corona thing started, we obviously can't meet anywhere, so I am bringing the monkey to you from the monkey's home. But just want to say hi to Jodi. And can you tell us a little bit about what you got going on here?
Absolutely. So this guy's name is Madi. We named him after Madagascar. Our nonprofit's called Madi's Mission, and our whole embodiment of what we want to do is help keep Madagascar uniquely wild. There's so many different species on Madagascar that are primarily endemic just to there, and Madi's one of those, being a lemur. And these guys are number 22 on the most highly threatened mammal list. So these guys need some help. So we like to go out and raise awareness and education about lemur species as well as other animals that live over there. And Madi's our spoiled ambassador.
Yeah. I see he's showing us his best side right now.
Yeah, I'll turn around so that you can see his cute little face here.
And he's still looking away. Yeah, there he is.
So Madi's 2 years old. He just turned 2 on March 3rd. And I've had him since he was 2.5 weeks old. His mom stopped feeding him and his twin, so they needed a foster to come in. That's where I came into play. And after growing up with him, I thought we need to do something really cool because people deserve to see this. And that's where we started Madi's Mission.
Excellent. I'll have you come back around
Deal.
so we can see you. So now, with the whole coronavirus and everything else, do you have to worry about him getting sick?
We do. Since these guys are primates just like us, that means they can catch the same things we can. Unfortunately, but for them, a common cold can actually be deadly, so we do have to protect them and go outside of our measures, which unfortunately means we're not going out and doing anything now. We're trying to do some Zoom meetings or like with different classrooms and things, jumping on for them so they can at least see them, ask some questions, but Madi definitely is missing going out, seeing people.
Yeah, as we've seen before we started doing this, he has a lot of energy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So how do you keep him, I guess, contained, so to say? I see you got room outside that he's got his tree he can come out in.
Absolutely.
And I've seen his room where you'll see that here in just a little bit. We'll go on inside there. But how do you keep him contained, entertained? All the tains.
All the tains. Well, for him, keeping him contained when we're outside in public, we do use leashes and harnesses just as a precaution for me so that I can make sure in case he gets startled, their number one reflex is to go up high. I'm 5 foot nothing, so instead of me having to climb up trees, we do use a great little system here. And then as far as entertained, enrichment's a huge part of their life. So it's everything from hiding different snacks and treats all over the house, so the house is never clean, to just entertaining him like you would like a little kid. Since these guys are primates, they are very similar to us, so he likes that human interaction, playing high five, rolling around on the bed with some stuffed animals, things like that. In his room, we've got rope, like a rope course, things like that. We can actually move the location where the ropes are, so every week it's different. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's going through a different...
I know you got the setup in there. I didn't realize that it changes
Yeah, there's all
so
different
often.
carabiners and hooks, and so you can just literally just change where it goes from top to bottom, so it keeps them entertained.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've got more than this one here. What else do you have?
So here at the house that go out with me is going to be Madi the ringtail lemur, Blue, which is an English Angora rabbit, and Tiny is sulcata tortoise. Now Tiny's still small for now. I just think it's going to be really funny when he's 150 pounds to call him Tiny.
How are you going to bring him out when he's 150 pounds?
We're working on going up ramps right now, so hopefully he'd just be able to walk up and into the cars.
So you're gonna have a moving company.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Excellent. Whoa.
So these guys can jump 6 to 8 feet in any one direction, so he does constantly keep going here. So he just wants to see what's going on. He likes chasing birds, even though that would be his predator in the wild. For him, he thinks he's a big guy and can scare them all away.
Now, we do have some decent-sized hawks, falcons, eagles.
Absolutely.
Is that a concern being out here? Have you seen anything like post up across the way and eyeball them?
We actually have one place that we work at down in Celebration, and we're there every Wednesday, and they have a lot more forest areas, so they do have a family of hawks that are out there. And when they do see Maddie, they start doing their circle. So
Wow.
yeah, so we definitely just pull him into our circle so that he's in our shadow, so we look a little bit bigger. So thank goodness we haven't had anything, but we're always very conscious about it.
So what do you know what they see him as? Because obviously we don't see lemurs just running all over the place here. Do they think he's either like a crazy looking raccoon or a squirrel gone
That's
nuts?
what I think. I think from far away he probably would more resemble a squirrel than anything else. So he's still that small snack that, you know, they can take. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And then you also have another one you didn't mention.
I do. I have a bush baby. So an African bush baby or greater Galago. Those guys come from Africa, but they're nocturnal. So her name is Gizmo, and she's absolutely amazing. And it definitely, even though she's a primate, just like Maddie, they're both old world primates, they're definitely completely different in their attitude.
Yeah, and I've seen them before, and they are completely different. One thing I will say about that bush baby is when it wakes up, it's kind of like some of us in the morning. It takes a while to get going, peeks out. Do I want to come out and say hi? Nope, we're going to sleep a few more minutes. So.
Oh yeah.
And you said that she does get cranky in that at the beginning, so she's not the best to be around people when she's first waking up.
Correct. So if we ever do an event with her during the day, I make sure I wake her up about 2.5 hours before the event, just so she can get through her cranky phase and go from there. But at nighttime, same thing. You know, she gets up. It's kind of like I need my cup of coffee before I talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Gizmo's exactly the same way. She needs a little bit of food, a couple of mealworms, and then she's good to go. And then she's Little Miss Social Butterfly. So.
Yeah. Well, as you guys know, that's why we give you guys coffee when we meet in the mornings. I don't know if mealworms are going to be on the breakfast menu, though, so Graffiti Junction might have a little bit of a problem with that. But they were going to let me bring primates in, but mealworms, they might draw the line. So.
Right? I don't blame them. And eggs. We'll go with eggs, right?
Yeah, eggs. So what all does he eat?
So Maddie doesn't know he's supposed to be a vegetarian. Some lemurs are omnivores, and he seems to have more of that attitude, especially if he's eating with Gizmo. So if Gizmo's eating her mealworms and things, so will Maddie.
Yeah. Well, you guys can hear in the background the lawn maintenance guys have come by, and notice we have not just a dog. I promise we are keeping our group to 10 or less and trying to stay as far apart as possible, but yeah, there's I guess once people realize you've got a monkey sitting outside, they're gonna want to look.
True, very true.
So anyway, back to his diet. So he does eat a little bit of everything.
He does eat a little bit of everything, but primarily more fruits and veggies. So he's a big romaine lettuce guy, green beans, grapes are his favorite as far as fruit goes, and bananas. But then we mix it up a little bit. We do a lot of melons, apples, things like that. Everything's fresh. We do try to do organic all the time, just to make sure that they're, safe and healthy as far as pesticides and things like that. So they definitely eat better than I do at my house.
Yeah. Now, you can't just keep a lemur. I can't just go out and get one of these things and say, ride my dog,
Well, technically in Florida, they are legal as long as you have a permit. But I will tell you, lemurs are horrible pets. And I love Maddie to death. I work with exotics, which is why I have my permit. And to go out and exhibit's a totally different permit as well. But they're troop animals, so you need to have more than one primate when you're dealing with him, just because of their attitudes, things of that nature. And he's extremely destructive. In their genes, it's to jump and play and things like that. So when he goes to jump with those powerful hind legs, if he jumps into the TV, he breaks that TV screen. So we always joke. We say in 2 years, he's broken 4 TVs, about 16 plates, 1 computer, and then I stopped counting. Oh, and all my fans. All my fans have had to be,
Yes, I'll take a picture of the fan to put up there as well.
That's the latest one.
Apparently, it's up there. He thinks it's another branch he can go on to.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. Anything that moves, he's very similar to a 2-3-year-old. Something that catches his eyes, lights, ribbons, things like that. He wants to play with them and do his own thing. So
now, okay, we've got our dogs, our cats. We've got to bring them into the vet, get shots, stuff like that. I'm sure you have to do a regular vet routine, but there's other stuff you got to do with the county for having these guys too?
Absolutely. So we're inspected by USDA and Florida Fish and Wildlife. So they do come out. They have the right to come out anywhere from 4 to 6 times a year to do surprise inspections to make sure we're doing everything right. We have to have a vet plan and enrichment and diet plan, and all of that needs to be accessible to anybody that asks for it. So we do have our regular general vet visits with him, but then we have multiple visits with, regardless whether it's shots or whatnot. But primarily the difference for us as far as obviously an exotic vet instead of a regular vet, but it is those inspections because the government gets involved. I mean, these guys are endangered species, so they want to make sure they're being taken care of,
Yeah, and you said they have regulations on your food that they check as well?
Absolutely. If we have in our enrichment plan, like if in my enrichment plan, if you look at Maddie, it says an assortment of fresh fruits and vegetables. And then I give some examples, but then I also say, but not limited to. Because if they come in and read my paperwork that a vet signed off on that says apples, green beans, and oranges, if they come and inspect my house and I don't have apples, green beans, and oranges in that bowl, I can actually get written up because I'm not following that plan. So they're very specific as
So
far
if
as
something
what
goes
to
out
do.
of season, you could...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you just, learn to increase your plan as well as, use broader terms so that you're making sure that they're protected, which I appreciate that they come out and inspect because then, they do care about the animals, and that's what this is all about. It's about taking care of these guys, giving people the unique opportunity to see an animal not behind a cage, but also making sure that they live their best life,
Now, what does he usually do? You take him out to schools and that, so he pretty much has a field trip all the time, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we go everywhere from school programs, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. We do have a hotel that we work with every Wednesday just to go out and help, go sit by the poolside so people can have that one-on-one interaction with them. We've done birthday parties, corporate events. We do safari Saturdays, going to somebody's house, educating them about them, giving them some time with them, things like that.
Yeah, so your next birthday party,
Absolutely.
you could hire you a lemur.
That's very true. And he's definitely entertaining, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. and once you set this stuff up, you realize what all these guys on TV that have been doing these various talk shows and that, if you notice, animals do what they want.
Oh, absolutely. We always say they're not domesticated, but they're kind of tame, but they still always have that wild hair, so it's always a surprise if they're going to pay attention or not.
Just like your kids.
Absolutely.
So what led you to start this particular nonprofit that you have?
So I've always had an affinity for animals. That was always my runaway from my serious job. So I always worked with rescues and things. So I was always bringing home weird things. And as far as Maddie was concerned, like I said, I do work with exotics now. And somebody needed to foster him. So I stepped up to foster. And he's just it was cool being able to see how they actually grow up, use their hands like a primate does, things of that nature. And then the more research you're doing, when you start looking into it, Madagascar is our 4th largest island, but we've already lost over 90% of its original habitat, which is crazy to me.
Wow, I had no idea.
And these guys need their help. So we started contacting people in Madagascar and going, we can do something. We can actually give back, even if it's, right now just one community. And with this guy and his temperament, I mean, he's just too cute not to share, you know? And for me, again, I know I'm a hypocrite because I don't believe in exotic animals as pets, but I know he lives with me because I have to take care of him and bond with him. But for him, when people see him and I see their face light up and I think, he did make a difference. Somebody's going to think about planting a tree at some point in their life because of him. I needed to share that.
Yeah.
So we thought, what better way than making it all about Maddie? So we started Maddie's Mission, and we've gotten to the point where now we have a little town over in Madagascar called Kiboy. They have 637 people there. We just got out one of our very first care packages out to them for their kids. And our biggest thing that we're working on right now is getting the kids a classroom built. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and what's really cool about that, I know I'm rambling, I'm so sorry.
No, that's what we're here for.
But what's really cool about that is they just sent me a video so there's almost 100 different species of lemurs, which by the way is down from over 150 different types. So
Yeah.
we're quickly losing the species. They ended up saving, our villagers ended up saving 2 Suffolk lemurs, which everybody knows as Zabumafu. Those are Suffolk lemurs, from hunters in the forest that was right by the city.
Wow.
So now they're raising 2 lemurs for us to
that's awesome.
help keep them, protected.
Now, how do they differ from Maddie?
So Suffolks are a lot bigger, and they're really cool because they actually hop sideways. So
Oh, wow.
their legs are a little bit different. They're about yay big, a little bit bigger than him. Make really cool calls. They're beautiful white and brown and red. Gorgeous, gorgeous animals, but definitely up there. They're critically endangered. So
Oh,
that means
wow.
in the next 20 years, we're potentially going to lose that species.
Now, we were talking earlier, not just about the fuzzy things from Madagascar. You were talking about like the chameleons and some of the other animals. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So Madagascar is a brilliant island because they have so many different species of animals that are only found there. So lemurs are endemic to Madagascar only, which means that's the only place you can find them. 60% of our chameleon species are also found just in Madagascar, and 40% of our frog species, I'm going around your head, sorry, are found in Madagascar as well. So, those are other animals that we have to take into consideration of helping as well,
Yeah.
So the fosses, the big cats, things like that, they have magnificent, crazy cool animals out there. Some of their snakes out there that's only indigenous to there. Cool little leaf-nosed Madagascar snakes it's really neat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful area, but they need our help. Unfortunately, they're still a developing nation. So, Maddie, don't touch that. He's going after the camera.
He's looking for the close-up shot, and a little closer than I think we both like.
And he has I have a feeling he's going to use that tripod as a little treat. Can you come back here, Bubba's?
So, I got to ask the question.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've all seen the movie.
Yes.
Does he like to move it?
That's his theme song. Move it, move it. He's constantly going. Hang on one second, because this might go bad. Up, up, up. He's constantly going. Definitely does not know the meaning of sit still or I'm bored. So.
So on that, does he dance like King Julian?
Sometimes, especially when I'm doing my laundry. If I put him in my bedroom, he does do this really funny, he likes to play with the sheets and things, and he'll like throw himself upside down and roll over in circles. But that's definitely when he's in his playful mode.
Now, as far as
He's yelling
Yeah,
at her.
this thing is absolutely insane. So, can you get him to make some of the calls? Because I know he makes some funky noises.
I can. I'd probably be able to do that more inside than I would be outside.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up here. We're going to head inside. I'm going to show you his playroom and everything, and we'll get him to make a little bit of noise.
Awesome. Sounds great.
All right.
Helping Maddie, you're doing so good. Want to see it on the camera?
And there's the Bush baby, and we've got the movie star here as well. Hello. There you go.
It's like I got you for me. I'm gonna try laying into the hammer.
So anyway, we're gonna let the Bush baby sleep a little bit longer. She's not ready to get up, and I'll show you her little setup.
Bella.
And there you go, there's Maddie, and as you can see, there is quite the arrangement up here. And just like what we all need, a little hammock. Various little tubes. And her little tropical background. So now, the tubes in that, do they run through them like a dog doing agility?
Absolutely. They do use them as that. They like to hide in there sometimes. from everybody.
Yeah, you gotta hide your treats.
Oh yes, absolutely. But like I said, yeah, so if you look across all the walls, you'll see these little like carabiner hooks and things. So we can at any given time take them down, rearrange them, and it literally goes all the way around. And so we just switch it up a little bit. Sometimes it goes all the way across the room, sometimes it goes from side to side. Just kind of depends on what we put in there. And I do try and switch them up at least once a week. The bamboo is one of their favorites, as well as this black cargo net up here. It's kind of like what you would see in a kid's playground, but can hold animals. And that's one of their favorite things because it's got a little bit of elastic to it, so they like to bounce on it.
Now, as far as these little knapsacks, do they spend a lot of time in there? Does he actually sleep in there, or where's his prime sleeping place?
Gizmo sleeps in there. So the little bush baby will sleep in there. I don't know why she's up on top today, probably because of the lawnmower guys. He likes to sleep in that white hammock up there. So that happens to be his favorite sleeping spot if he is not in my bedroom across my neck.
So does that stay in the same place all the time?
Yes. Since that is his sleeping spot, it does stay there, but all the ropes move.
And as you can see, you can disappear real quick in
Oh,
an
yeah,
open
absolutely.
room.
And they do.
Oh, there he is.
I have to say, they've got little hiding. Hi, the baby. He's got little hiding spots all over. Definitely keeps us entertained. Now, something that we do need for USDA and Florida Fish and Wildlife is we need to be able to access their leashes and harnesses. So every single animal has their leash and harness up in this room, since this is where they try to go at nighttime, just in case they needed to grab any of them right away.
And so you guys know this is a compliance video as well.
Absolutely.
So if you do need painting done in the house, Maddie is quite the expert on the ladder. Now, can we get him to make some noises?
Yes, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the room and I'm gonna call out to him and he should answer me. Should being the opportune word here, so let's see. Good answer, Bubba. Good answer, baby. One more time. Go. Good answer, baby. You did so good.
And even the dog will answer.
Yeah, exactly.
So now they make a bunch of noises. They don't make just those couple.
Correct. They've got 14 different vocalizations. So it just depends on what he's trying to communicate to me. Those are a lot of his mommy calls that he makes. He makes that little clicking noise. That's a playful noise. Or a hunting noise. It kind of depends on how his ears are positioned as far as that goes. But he's got one that's actually an alarm that sounds if the bird screams too loud, he'll answer the bird in an alarm sound. And that's an interesting one to see. If he sees a predator, it does sound more like a bark than anything else, which is kind of interesting. They're just cool creatures. The fact that we can communicate with them, even just using 14 different types of sounds, is kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll let Maddie get about his day. Can we go take a look at a couple of the other guys that we got?
Absolutely. Let's go find Blue and Tiny. That is Oshi. Oh, sorry. Oshi does not come out with us. He is a rescue only. He doesn't quite understand being nice. I don't know how old Oshi is, but he is a sun conure parrot, and I do know he is a he. He is free rein when nobody else is here besides myself, so he can get out and get all of the exercise he needs. But he is just a beautiful bird. To be able to see him is really kind of cool. And I think Tiny's in his little cubby over here.
All right, so what is this pillow?
Well, this pillow is actually alive, believe it or not. This is Blue. Blue is an English Angora rabbit. These guys were bred in Turkey back in the 1800s, actually Ankara, which is where they get their name Angora from, for royalty. Their coat is actually so thick and warm, it's actually thicker than a cashmere or a wool. So royalty used to use it as a sign of wealth. And Miss Blue came to me. She used to be a championship rabbit, which means unfortunately, because they were more worried about how she looked, she never got to see the ground before she came into my house.
Wow.
So one of the first things we did was let her run free and play like a normal bunny rabbit should. But as you can see, she's got this crazy cool coat that's got 2 different colors. Now, Angora rabbits are what we make Angora scarves and sweaters from. But don't worry, we realized here in the United States that we don't have to kill them for their fur. We've realized that if we shave them 4 times a year, each coat grows in healthier and bigger. So that's what we do. So little Miss Blue gets shaved 4 times a year. We're almost ready for that shave. And she gets her name because that beautiful fur here does turn into a gorgeous blue when you spin it into a yarn. So Miss Blue likes to come out and talk about the fur trade and talk about making sure you get the animals or the fur from America, not from overseas, since we don't hurt our animals here.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Morning. Oh, you're getting so big, buddy. Stop, belly. Good girl. And this little guy is Tiny. Tiny is a sulcata tortoise, or an African spurred tortoise. And that's because of these spurs that are on his front arms. And he's actually started growing in really soft, but then as they grow up, they get a lot harder. Difference between turtles and tortoises are turtles live in water, tortoises live on land. If this guy were to actually go into water, he'd actually drown because their shell's so thick. Now, tortoises can feel when you scratch on them, so we do give them lots of love. And this helps guard them from, think about it, in Africa, he'd be in where all the lions and things were. So for him, what they would do is if they needed to protect themselves from a predator, their whole body does not go inside their shell. So they bring their head in and then they use those 2 arms as like an armor plate. That's also why they've got those really hard spurs right there. So now Tiny's favorite food is romaine lettuce and green beans, but don't let him fool you. He loves apples as well. And he does come for walks with us. So he comes outside and does this thing. He's Mr. Social Butterfly.
So how big will he get? You said he's going to get quite large?
Correct. He'll be over 150 pounds when he's full grown.
So that's about the size of
pretty much
these
about the size
things
of this
here.
chairs. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
And
funny.
tell us about Bella. Bella's making some noise wanting to hang out with us.
Bella is making some noise, and Bella looks like a rag doll right now because we missed our grooming appointment because of everything that's going on, didn't we? Miss Bella was a rescue to us. She was in one of the worst parts of Chicago when she was found. She was a little bit over 3.5 years old when we found her, and her hair was actually longer than mine when we found her.
Wow.
So we have to watch her when she gets groomed, but she's as sweet can be. I tease her, call her my little street rat because she doesn't eat what she's supposed to. She'll eat green beans and lettuce quicker than she will anything else.
So they get along great.
She actually takes care of them as if they were her kids. So if they need to be reprimanded, Bella will chase them around the house, put them in a corner, and then she'll groom them every night to say goodnight to them. So I couldn't ask for a better nanny.
Wow. Who would have thought that the dog was going to raise the lemur?
Right? Especially because she's really not a huge fan of other dogs or cats. So the fact that she gets along with all the exotics. And she does. She'll herd. She's outside with Tiny. She'll make sure he stays safe. She's really, really great. Like I said, I couldn't ask for a better dog to be in with all these guys.
So she doesn't get along with the domesticated pets. Is it because she sees them as something completely different as another person?
I think because they came into me so tiny, I think she sees them as babies. And she definitely has that mothering, nurturing personality for her. So I think it has something to do with that. And I also think the fact that she doesn't like the other domestics is because of where she was found on the street. So I'm assuming something happened in her past that way.
Yeah, I know Chicago could be a tough place coming from there myself.
Exactly. So for her, I think she just feels more comfortable with animals that she can control other than regular dogs and cats.
Hey, I think a lot of people feel that same way.
Yeah.
Relate to an animal. People can be quite difficult sometimes.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up here. Thank you so much for letting us hang out.
Thank you guys so much for coming out. Hopefully we can do this in person.
Yes, tell us where we can find you.
Absolutely. If you go online, go to www.maddysmission.org, and Maddie is spelled M-A-D-I. Sorry. Or if you go on Facebook or Instagram, you can look up both Maddie's Mission, again, M-A-D-I-S, or Maddie the Lemur, M-A-D-I, and then Lemur's L-E-M-U-R. And you can see his normal everyday shenanigans on his Maddie the Lemur page, and then Maddie's Mission is more towards what we're doing for the community in Key Boy. So.
Excellent. So with that, get a hold of her next time you have a birthday party.
Deal.
Think about having a lemur hangout. I promise you, nobody else has had a birthday party quite like that.
It'll definitely be something very interesting to experience, and he loves sharing vanilla cake, so.
Excellent. All right, Jodi, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
We'll
very,
see you
very
guys
much.
later.
Deal.
Thanks for watching. See ya!